Hey everybody, it's Rob Nazarian with Talk Android, and we're looking at the LG Optimus G, and the specifically two versions, the AT&T and the Sprint version. Now the Sprint version is pretty much the same phone as the international version, and the AT&T version makes a lot of changes. This is the Sprint version. It has the 13 megapixel camera. You can see the crystallized back with the glass back and the pattern underneath there, which is pretty cool, but the glass in itself back I'm not a big fan of. I think it just adds too much delicacy to the phone, and for those who scream we'll put a case on it, well then what's the sense? I do think it looks cool, but I just don't think it's practical, but no big deal. Some people will like it, and I cannot say I hate the look of it, but just not in love with the problems it presents. Now the AT&T version is actually a little wider, but I guess a tiny bit shorter. But you can tell really in the width of it, so it's not as comfortable in the hands. It's also a little rounded. You can kind of see, I guess maybe in this angle, it's a little rounded on the edges there. It actually resembles to me a Galaxy S2. Also the bottom is a little different as well, as you can see. Overall, and it also has an 8 megapixel camera, but pretty much the guts of the phone is the same as far as the quad core Snapdragon S4 Pro and the 2 gigabytes of RAM and the 4.7 inch IPS display. Oh, and also the AT&T version has a cover here that houses a micro SD slot and the micro SIM. Now there is no micro SD slot on the Sprint version or the international version, and as far as the SIM goes, the Sprint version is embedded, so it's non-removable. Both of them are unibody design with no battery removal whatsoever, so we're just like the Nexus 4. So I just also want to go through a lot of the software here. I'll spend most of the time here with the Sprint version. Now actually, let's just quickly though look at the lock screen. The lock screen is different for both phones. This is something AT&T actually took LG's UI and made their own changes, which is absolutely absurd. I do like this lock screen a little bit better though, the AT&T, but still it seems insane that a carrier would do this. The other thing that's also different is the launcher. You can see in the AT&T version it's in the middle, which over here it's on the right side. Actually, again, in this particular case, AT&T did probably a better job with this because this is more of a reflection of stock Android. However, again, I really don't think they should be fooling around with things like that. We'll get into a couple of other changes as well, but just want to go in and show you some folders. Let me just go into the app drawer here and just bring in an app onto the screen. Doing folders is the same as ice cream sandwich. It's pretty straightforward. Just tap on the icon and you throw it into the folder, and as you notice here, the folder has kind of a manila folder type of look to it. It's a little different. You can also go in and change the name and change the color of the folder. The other thing that you can do also is hold down on it and expand the folder so it becomes more like a widget. So now in this particular case it's actually going to be live and open all the time, and I can just go in and select my apps rather than a close. And of course I can resize it right back down, and then it becomes a normal traditional folder that opens and closes. The settings is custom. You can customize the quick settings. Many phones have this. When you scroll down, you go through your settings, and you can also go in and edit it to change the order or eliminate items. So you can also go in here and uncheck any items you don't want and add to. most of the items are already added. I don't believe on the AT&T version you can use the portable the Wi-Fi hotspot on there for whatever reason, but that's another difference. So you can go in and just basically go in here and change the order, which is also, that's a nice feature. Now, oops, I just put it on vibrate. It doesn't matter really because I'm not getting any calls on this. Another feature is this quick memo. You saw it there, but you can also do this by holding down the volume keys up and down. Actually, I was already doing a quick memo by doing a phone number there. One of the things I was testing is, I might as well show you now since I have it. You can tap the quick memo. You can pretty much write anything you want. You can change the pen colors, to whatever you want, whatever color, and you can change different thicknesses. And so there, I just changed the color there, and that works. So, but anyways, you can also hit this right here, and it's now embedded over the screen. So let's say I go over to the phone. That phone number, this is an example of a situation where you might have to just write down a phone number quickly or somewhere that you're going to need to call later. It's right now I can do it, and I can go ahead and dial the phone number by looking right at the note. That's a pretty cool feature. Again, these are all really cool things LG throws at you, but unfortunately a lot of people are just not going to know that you can do it, which is pretty wild. So there's that note, and then you can go ahead and save any particular note by hitting the save button, and you can save it to your notebook or gallery. I'll just go ahead and save it to the notebook, and we'll just go in here and we'll switch over to the notebook, and what happens is all the quick memos that you do end up in this area here. Now I can put it on read only so I can flip the pages without drawing on it. Oh, there we go. That one's a blank one. Okay, and this is one I did also, but just drawing a star, just a couple tests, and there's one I put my name in. The other thing that does happen though is you notice one of them had this picture behind it. Whatever you have on your screen, it will take a screenshot of it and you can write over it. So say you're in the browser, for example, and you wanna write something down, or based on the browser, like let's say let's just go to Talk Android, if I could spell it right. Well, alright, it's going to not go to the site, but here it is. Alright, so right now that's the mobile version of the site, but let's just say I go in here and I do a quick memo. Right now it's not, because I have this tapped. So that toggles between a clear one and a screenshot. So right now I can go ahead and write my notes over this, depending on if there's some kind of notes I want to make based on something I've been browsing on the web, or it's a text message or something like that, and it takes a screenshot of whatever you're in. So that's pretty cool. So we'll exit out of that. And the other thing is, going back to folders, is that you can create folders in the app drawer, which is pretty cool. So let's just say, for example, I want to add shopper here with settings. I now have a folder. So when you go in to your app drawer, that would be there, and so you can obviously quickly remove it as well. So that's pretty cool. The other thing also, going back to icons, is I can go ahead and tap on this icon browser, and I can change the image. Whoops. That's not how you do it. Okay, so now what you can do here is I can actually change the image of the icon, or even add my own photo. So right now, just quickly, if I want to change it to that, I just changed it. So that's pretty cool. But again, something that a lot of people just may not have. Sometimes it's not so easy to actually go into that, or hit that little icon in there. But I may be doing it wrong, but forget it. Enough. So you get the idea. It generally works pretty well. Another area is text messages. You can go in and change the look of your text messages. So you can go in here to settings and hit conversation skin, and there's different looks for your text messages. Again, cool, but you know, again, a lot of people probably aren't even going to know that it exists. Hopefully they'll look around for videos like this. Now another feature is the, let's go to the videos. This is there with the Q slide, where you can embed a video. It's like pop-up video that Samsung has, but in this particular situation it's a little different. So let's say I'm watching a video. I could be watching it in this, obviously this mode as well. Well, actually, one of the things you can do before you get into that is you can zoom in nice. That's a feature that's like in other standalone video players, not a big deal. But let's say you're getting a text message or you want to do something else. You can go in here and hit this, and the video is now embedded on your screen. You can't move it around, but you can bring it, you can make it lighter or darker depending on what you're reading. So if you're reading your browser or something, let's say, like, say example, go to the home screen here, we'll go to that browser, and let's say I wanted to read something like up here. Of course I can scroll and stuff. There's the video, and of course I can make it darker. So if I'm writing something, I can type on it, do whatever. I can go in the text messages, so I can, well, we're in the settings there on that, but let's just say, now see, actually right now I couldn't see where I wanted to hit, so I can go in here, bring the video back up, and I can go ahead and type up while I'm watching the video. This is only works with videos. This only works with videos that are on your device, so I don't really see a lot of use for it. If it's one thing, if it's a YouTube video or something, but to me, it's not a huge deal. It's a nice feature to have, but it would be nice if you could do it with other things. A lot of phone companies, or a lot of companies are doing a lot of multitasking stuff now. Now let's look at some of the changes also. I mentioned the lock screen and the launcher, but the AT&T version also in the settings area, if they go in the settings, and I'll do the settings over here too, completely different look. It has more of a tabbed option. Whoops. On the top you can see if you want to go into areas like, see, sound is down here. On the Sprint version, this is more true to ICS. Over here you're going to go here, you have to go in these areas here. I guess it's not a bad setup in a sense, but it's not, one thing for sure is that LG, at least in their UI, made things similar to ICS. It'd be one thing if they did this on, you know, on all their phones, but why AT&T is doing this is mind-boggling. I just don't understand it. The other thing that also happens is that you can see these transitions. You can change these transitions. Right now, that's more of like a carousel transition, but they can both be changed. But one of the things on the AT&T version is that only 3 home screens are ready to go when you open the phone, when you turn on the phone for the first time. And over here, you can hit that plus sign and move things around and organize the apps. But if I want to go into here, you can see on the main screen the settings are different. Oops, I didn't pick that up good. See, the phone's a little slippery with the glass too. You can see that the menu options are different. So let's say you want to edit home screens. You do that right here. You can actually go ahead and remove a home screen or whatever, because you can have whatever number of home screens you want, up to 7. But over here you don't have that. You have home screen settings, but you can't do anything with it. So with AT&T, you got to know what you're doing. You got to do a pinch type gesture, and then you can go ahead and add more pages or delete and set certain ones as your default. Screwy things like that, which is mind-boggling. I don't understand it. It's just bizarre. And the other thing is, let's just go into home screens. Go in the, whoops, not that one. Home screen settings, sorry. animation, all animations are shown. Okay, that's right, the swipe effect between the screens. Right now, this one is set to basic. Carousel is a default. So let's just say it actually shows you what it's going to look like. There's breeze and accordion. So you can change, your effects in between. And that was the carousel there. So, that's pretty cool that you can, do that. Again, I'm not sure that that one really doesn't show that much, the domino effect. But there's panorama. So again, not much of a difference there either. The carousel one's probably, the more popular and is the default. There's a lot of other settings in here, and I don't want to get into. I'm not going to get into everything, but I think you get the idea that LG is throwing a lot at you. Overall, the interface isn't too bad. I think it's improved. It has overall a good ICS feel, except for this. Of course, on the AT&T version, it does give you more. Put that in the middle, but this has more of a TouchWiz feel to it. Even this widget, to me, this has a TouchWiz feel to it, which I'm not a fan of. I'm more of a stock Android guy myself, but I think a lot of the options are nice to have, and again, like I said, most people aren't going to know it's there. Overall, though, you can read my written review on both phones. It's a really nice phone. The AT&T version I would just pretty much stay away from. I mean, it's a rock solid phone, but after you hold the Sprint version and see it, you wonder what the heck they were thinking, why they would be doing it. What can one of the things I want to show you in the camera, I wasn't thinking there, let me just show you. This has pretty much all the same types of settings in the camera. You can, change, HDR and all that stuff. But one thing I want to show you here is what's called time catch shot. This will, if you set it to this, whenever you take a picture, it'll present you with a few pictures right before you press the shutter button, which is pretty cool. So this isn't really a motion shot or anything, so it really doesn't make any sense to do it. But there, I just took a picture, and to display the missing moments, press this button. So basically, it's giving you 5 shots, or is that 4 shots, right before that you actually press the shutter button, because you might have missed it. Because a lot of times, a lot of people say, "Oh, I had it right there. The smile was perfect," or whatever. So that's what that is, and it's just another form of burst shooting, I guess, in a sense. To me, I like burst shooting. But also, as you're going to find in my written review, there's an epic fail here on burst shooting, now that I'm bringing that up. When you do burst shots, it's 6 photos at the same time, or every half second or whatever. But the problem is that those photos are going to be at 1 megapixel, not the full resolution. That's an absolute embarrassment, and you won't find that with Samsung and HTC phones. This is I couldn't believe it. I was away for the weekend testing the phone, and I had no idea of that. None of the reviews that I read mentioned that. But absolutely ridiculous. When I got home with a lot of the photos and loaded them up, grabbed them from Dropbox, I'm like, why are these resolutions so small? That's what happens with burst shooting. And if you rely on burst shooting much, I do. I have a 4-year-old. He runs around a lot, so I rely on it. This is not going to be the phone for you. But like I say, if you're on Sprint, this is the best phone on Sprint. But I think if you're on AT&T, you have other options. I think the HTC One X Plus is better, a better phone. And of course, you're on another network looking to switch over. If you're on Verizon, stay there and grab the Droid DNA. Of course, the Nexus 4, which is based on this phone, is another great option for those of you that want that don't mind not having LTE. Of course, that's not going to be available for Sprint anyway. So, but if you don't feel like you need a quad-core processor and all the bells and whistles, I say you get the Evo 4G LTE. It's a great phone still, has a better camera as far as I'm concerned, and it's still a better display, even though this display is really, really nice. It is a great display, but HTC is just a little bit better. Again, either one you'd be happy with. I mean, most people aren't going to notice a difference. Has very good viewing angles. fantastic viewing angles. So definitely, I would definitely, on Sprint, I would recommend it if you want the full, if you were looking for a quad-core device. But if you're on AT&T, I wouldn't recommend this. It's just not the same phone. It just feels cheap compared to the Sprint version and the International. So, anyways, thanks for watching. This is Rob Nazarian with Talk Android. Check out the written review as well, and we'll see you again soon.